Look at my new growth. Ah! So much new growth. I'm so proud of my plants. Look at Jim. I have tried to branch Mr. Sir a few times and it's finally working. This completely white leaf. What a beauty. What a little treasure. We got a little green in this one. That's cute. I also have a new leaf in my little terrarium. And that one's growing something new. I'm proud of you, plants. Okay, let's chat. Let me set the scene. It is currently 12:29. It rained and was very dark. Oh, that breeze. Yo, today is like the first day that the outdoors feels amazing to participate in. I slept until 12 o'clock noon. The doggies slept with me. I had the fan going, I had the box fan going, the air was set to 69. I just woke up, the house was completely silent. I woke up, I'm out here, the breeze feels phenomenal. I am finally no longer COVID positive. It's a good day. It's a good day. I'm caught up with all of my videos and editing. It is a good day. It is a good Sunday. I feel like I'm spending Sunday the way that Sunday was meant to be spent. So as I've been thinking about, like, what do I want to record? What do I want to talk about? I want to follow up on my solitude video. What have I been doing with myself since I have finally started to embrace solitude? What does that actually mean for me? And beyond letting go, how am I now beginning to move on? I have this little silly thing in my head. Yo, every porch video we do this. No! So basically, like, anytime something crazy happens. Hi! Okay, you wanna go in? You wanna go inside? Okay, come on. So basically, anytime something bad happens, I'll be like, and the world kept spinning, and the world kept spinning. And my mom sometimes be like, okay, girl. But, like, it's true. It really doesn't matter what is going on. Like, life goes on, life moves on, she's kind of ruthless. Like, she really kind of doesn't give a F what you are dealing with. Everything has to move on. And if you're not willing to let go and move on with it, girl, you are going to be miserable. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the things that I have started to do with myself, ways that I have decided to start spending time with myself, what those activities actually tell me about me, and how I connect with them in a way that I wasn't connecting with myself through other people before. First thing that I have learned, and I've sort of taken the channel on a little bit of the journey, is crochet. I did quit crochet as my first quitting experience in elementary school, and I think that it did sort of become a perpetual pattern for me. Habitual? I became like a serious quitter. I think that especially as a non-diagnosed ADHD little chitlin, once I kind of learned that quitting was an option, girl, I am not ashamed to quit things. When I don't like something, I don't like it. I don't want to do that. I'm not doing it, okay? And so crochet was something that I couldn't figure out. All of the other kids were right-handed, and I think the teacher maybe could crochet with both hands, but obviously couldn't sit by and, like, be my personal assistant the entire time. She had other students. Do you want water? Bro, to be a mother. Now, here's what's really interesting about Crochet Club, despite it being the first thing that I quit and, like, blah, blah, blah. Looking back on it now, it has taught me that I'm not a quitter. I am very aware of my limitations. I have always been incredibly self-aware. I think that most neurodivergent children are. I think that most neurodivergent children are not only aware of how they're functioning, but but they're also very aware that they are not functioning like other people. I don't know if I would have qualified for serious occupational therapy. I could have probably benefited from some. I was a kid who broke crayons a lot, and I didn't like break colored pencils in half, but I did break the tips of them a lot, and I didn't like how uneven I drew and whatnot. So holding the hooks, like, you know, that was really difficult. Not being able to look over at your friend and see what they're doing because they're right-handed, so it looks completely backwards. Not being able to ask the teacher, like, too much for me. And so, yeah, I will quit. But it's not because I'm a quitter, it's because if I don't have the support that I need, like, I can't just figure it out. Because the things that I can just figure out, I do. I'm very aware of like when I need supports in things. But I have also become so conditioned to the struggle that, no lie, I tried crochet as an adult, like 3 different sessions. And 2 out of those 3 sessions, I tried to teach myself right-handed, because that had always been my experience. And I was worried that if I really got into crochet and I was doing it left-handed, that like people wouldn't be able to crochet with me or whatever. And then I crocheted once left-handed. I want you to take a guess which hand I actually learned and which hand it all made sense, because that's right, it was when I finally, for the 3rd out of 3rd time, watched a left-handed tutorial. Like, I think that if you are a lefty, you just kind of get it. You're so programmed to be like, this is a right-handed world, this is a right-handed world, this is a right-handed world. I've never been in a left-handed store. You just learn that you're not inadequate, but this isn't your playground, and you're gonna have to learn how to adjust. But I think that with crochet, like with learning that skill, and I guess kind of knowing that I have ADHD now, I have learned that, okay, beyond just constantly trying to adapt, you need to know when you can't and when you're actually going to need supports that support you as a person. There's so many things that I am willing to work with, and I am willing to be adaptable, and I won't necessarily quit just because I have to change how I'm doing things. But I am aware I can't do this by myself. I can't do this without support, and so I'm not going to do it. When you recognize that you need something, you can seek that support out, and you can get that support before quitting. And it is my responsibility to seek those supports, ask for help, say that I need something, advocate for myself, and move on from there, you know? And actually, I am to the point with crochet where now I can watch right-handed tutorials and I just know what they're doing because I know the motor pattern. So that fear of not fitting in, it's gotta go. Just because you're different doesn't mean you're in the way. Jeez. Enough with that word salad. Let us go on to our next hobby. So I am constantly switching up the way that I journal and I do not have a defined journal, diary, or whatever. Hello, I do have ADHD, but journaling has become one of those things where it was really, really hard in the beginning, but now it's just something that I do. So I definitely was one of those people, especially going through undergrad and graduate school, that I would pick up a pencil and I would know that like journaling is good for you. What to journal, I didn't know. I would just like stare at the paper and it would just be blank. Nothing would come to me. The same with drawing. Like, I liked to draw a little bit in high school, but trying to do it in undergrad and grad school, it was like, I can't. I don't even know. It was like, I don't even know what I would put on the paper. I don't really know where I found this layout, but one day I did what was called a mind map. I wrote something, I circled it like a little bubble, and then suddenly I had another thought that I circled and had another bubble, and I connected them to show like this thought came first. I don't know what it is about the mind map approach, but it worked for me, and the way that it triggered memories, you know, from being like a child and like it was really cool. It honestly reminded me of like the main idea and supporting example graphic organizer that I learned when we would do FCAT writes of how to like plan a story. Once I like remembered about FCAT writes, it's like that's your next bubble. You write that, oh, doing this exercise reminds me of whatever that graphic designer is called in FCAT writes. When I did one of my FCATs writes, I wrote it out in cursive and I was so proud of myself. I seem to have fond memories as a child of writing. Maybe writing is something that's important to me, right? And instead of it all having to come out like in a paragraph format, just would watch how my brain, ooh, this makes me think of this, ooh, this makes me think of that, and just watch how it expands. So it really helps you lay out your thinking patterns. If you are someone who struggles with CPTSD, socialized or generalized anxiety, even depression, it's a really great way to track, because you put arrows to show that I got from this thought to this thought. It's a really great way to help you see how your mind works, right? Mind mapping. So that is quite literally a great way to track how you're thinking, how your thoughts flow, form, connect with one another. And what better way to literally start learning about yourself than to be like tracking your mind map, right? So that definitely helped. And from there, it helped me get interested in other forms of journaling. Sometimes I do sit down and I write out like a dear diary, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes I will draw a clock in the middle of the paper, and around my clock, I just write out all the things that I did that day. I find that technique particularly helpful during like depressive episodes, because it helps me see how am I actually spending my time when I'm like feeling the effects of executive dysfunction and lack of motivation and just feeling blah. It's like, what am I actually doing with my time? And this helps me visualize and see like, oh, swag, I did way more than I thought. Right now, I am going through a little pocket calendar. Instead of using it as a planner, because I do use my phone as a planner, I just write a little tiny what I did every day. I am completely done with April, and I am caught up to date with May as well. And that's been like really fun. It's just, you literally only have to put one thing. It's one thing from your entire day. You can write it anytime. The box is like that big, so it's not even a huge thing you have to do. And then you can see like on this day in 2025, I did this, that, or the third. So that's been a really fun journaling technique. It's definitely what I've been doing the most of right now. But it all started with mind mapping. Now we're here. So I know that journaling can be really hard. I went through a time where I would try to find journaling prompts. I would buy prompted journaling books, and I honestly just didn't find that those were helpful, mostly because these prompts always asked for a narrative of something, and I wasn't taking advantage of that pre-planning. Use some form of a graphic organizer to get your thoughts out, and that's how you then bridge to the narrative. I think on top of a really great way to sit with yourself and quite literally see yourself reflected on paper in the moment, going back and reading through my journals and interacting with entries from a later date and like adding notes or annotating them or whatever, such a great way to have conversation with yourself. I can't remember what I was doing like 5 minutes ago, right? How the hell am I supposed to remember what I was doing a year ago? Oh, I go back in my journal and I just can peruse. What else do I do, Oreo? I take care of my plants. Potted plants have been a really helpful thing. The fiddle leaf fig Jim that you saw earlier, he was my first potted plant. I purchased him in like the depths of my first ever manic episode. Me and Jim go way back. I come out on my back porch every single day, and even if I don't sit down and record or pet the cat or do whatever, I check my plants, right? I always pet the cat, let's be real, but I check my plants every single day. That's how I know if new buds are coming on, or if they need to be watered, or if, oh, I need to probably aerate that soil a little bit. Oh, I need to repot this, right? It takes constant care. It takes constant paying attention. They are living things that need you and love you, and they will flourish for you if you give them the love and praise that they deserve. I have had gym for like 4 years, 4 or 5 years. I had no way of even conceptualizing what my life would look like or how I would be living 4 years from there. Like, girl, I was not future forward thinking. It has been incredibly, when I got gym, this is all gym propagations. This pot is Jim's original pot. Now he is tall enough that his pot just sits on the floor. I've had to put him on a pot stand, I've had plant stand, I've had to arrange Jim different ways to make him look cute, right? He's been repotted like 3 or 4 times. Now we've gone from a plant that small, he now has 2 established branches. It's amazing what you can do, but it's also amazing how much time it takes. That took 4 years. 4 years ago, I just started with this little tiny fiddle leaf fig that I was hearing were kind of finicky and praying that I didn't kill and trying to not overwater. I think that we as people, we forget there's more to life than just human beings. There are all forms of life on this earth. It's not just about the human beings you're in community with, you know? I think right now we're talking so heavily about the loneliness epidemic and how are we going to find community? You find community by what is around you. It's not always going to be the friend group around you. It's not always going to be a group of 10 people that just always hang out and you're so cool, and it's almost like never going to be that, right? That's why Friends was such a alluring TV show, because so few people have that experience, that it's not just real life. Sometimes it's just going to be the plants that you've spent a lot of money and time on and should probably be upkeeping and regularly involved with. Sometimes it's going to be the pets that were oh so fun and exciting when you first got them. Why don't you spend enough time with them on the day-to-day basis? Sometimes it's going to be a blank piece of paper staring back at you that isn't going to fill itself. Life is not always going to be a bunch of people patting you on the ass and telling you that you're doing amazing and reaffirming you in the easiest way you know, which is by word. He bit me. You know, sometimes life is going to be quiet, and you have to be willing to listen to that silence, and you have to be willing to get something out of it. And this silence right now is teaching me that beyond letting go of what was, it is time to move on with what is, so that you can be ready for what is to come. If I wasn't spending this time in silence, look at that wind, and the leaves will dance in the wind and sing the praises of the Lord. I love it. Oh, I'm in divine presence, always. And if I wasn't sitting on the back porch, sitting here by myself in the silence, like, I would be on the phone, complaining, just bullshitting, and looking for the words of other people to fulfill me in a way that they can't. Other people aren't leaves in the wind, except for they are. Obviously, I miss the relationships that I am no longer in. I miss those people. I hope those people are doing well. I hope that those people are in community that is supporting them and working for them. But I'm also aware that if I hadn't taken this time to sit in silence, I wouldn't know what I was looking for the next time I find myself in connection with people. I would be doing the same thing that I was, and that wasn't working for me. Okay, I have been rambling for literally 55 minutes. This honestly felt so nice. I haven't been on the back porch in a minute. I hope you have a good day. I hope you're connecting with yourself, and I hope that alongside letting go, you are trying to move on.